Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. So we're about to review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So get yourself a straight jacket and strap in, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. For a quick bit of context, me and my wife went to see Doctor Strange 2 last night, and we had an 8 o'clock showing, well, 7:40 showing, and we got crappy seats, very crappy seats. I had to sit real close up to the screen because all the other seats were surprisingly sold out. I haven't seen a theater this packed since Avengers Endgame. It's been a long time, and that was pretty amazing, pretty impressive, so a lot of people are going to see this movie. I wanted to review this as soon as possible, which is why we just committed to the crappy seats. Even though I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I just wanted to review this, see this. I'm excited about this thing, you know, especially since Spider-Man No Way Home. The first Doctor Strange movie had some really trippy visuals, and I've enjoyed the presence of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in every Marvel movie that he's appeared in since. I thought this was going to have strong ties to Spider-Man No Way Home. It didn't really, but it was the follow-up to WandaVision that I personally needed, considering how that series left us. I have not enjoyed most of the MCU since Avengers Infinity War and Spider-Man No Way Home. Aside from those, like, I enjoyed some of the moments, some of the stuff from some of the Disney Plus shows. Not all of them. I think they're all pretty disappointing. They all start off strong and tend to just end in disappointment. I did not enjoy Shang-Chi, Black Widow, The Eternals. Those weren't films for me, but I did enjoy Spider-Man No Way Home. I actually thought that was the only good Spider-Man movie under the Disney banner. Bruce Banner. On this one, Sam Raimi, the director from the original Spider-Man trilogy that I really enjoyed, except for the third one. Sam Raimi, director of the original Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire and the Evil Dead movies. And in this film, you could see he has his personal touch all over it. It feels very different from any other MCU movie. It gets really dark, really dark, borderline horror, brutal, gruesome, deaths of beloved characters at the hands of a beloved character. It's crazy how far they let this go, considering it's Disney and they like to play it safe in their little MCU bubble. There are techniques that are very Sam Raimi, and you instantly recognize those, like those scenes with those crazy, wacky, cheesy horror elements, visual, he has such a flavor to his films. And where there's Sam Raimi, there's always a certain somebody that comes with him. I think it's pretty obvious who we're talking about without saying. This film, though, it has amazing cameos, surprising and comic book accurate. There were cheers from the audience. Benedict Cumberbatch and Elizabeth Olsen have some more mature, grounded personal issues that gives them some real layers, some real depth. Doctor Strange, you know, he's always arrogant but wise, and in here he's like low-key heartbroken. It sort of grounds him. He's still able to have fun in all this madness with his arrogance, but a little bit more grounded. Not as reckless as he was in Spider-Man No Way Home. Wanda is charming as hell, heartbreaking, psychotic, and reasonable in this film. Reasonable. It is a perfect follow-up to WandaVision, where that show was obviously driving Wanda. The conclusion isn't a cop-out in here like it was with that show. You get strong character arcs from Doctor Strange, Wanda, Scarlet Witch, a great exploration of these characters, a lot of depth, layers, and then there's American Chavez, a plot device character that's there, and there's not a lot to her. And it's okay for what it is because, honestly, due to her unique power set, there wouldn't be a film without her. And the plot of this film takes it to really, really dark places, but honestly, I believe it's about damn time we go there. Even though I really like a particular character that goes too far, it makes everything that much more shocking, surprising, and entertaining. It just, because this film goes outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe comfort zone. It really goes outside of that. It's amazing to see that. It's special in that avenue. The negatives, and this isn't actually negative, it's more like a personal bias. So this might be a personal bias you have or I have, but let's talk about some of these things. There's a lot of elements from Marvel's What If Disney Plus animated series in here that, some people will really like a lot. I personally didn't because I didn't care for that show. I thought it was pretty underwhelming. Most Disney Plus Marvel MCU shows, I do think that they're pretty underwhelming and pretty disappointing. Anyways, I didn't enjoy that show. This film also, it isn't titled In the Multiverse of Madness because it's like littered with cameos and trips to other dimensions we've seen in every other Marvel film outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not called Multiverse of Madness because it's because somebody has gone insane. Without spoilers, that's as far as I can go on that front. But don't think you're gonna see like everybody that's ever played a Marvel character in live action. You're not even going to see a Rick and Morty Sliders amount of dimension hopping. It's disappointing that various dimension jumping is more of a brief sequence. And you probably could have padded out the runtime with a bit more fun. Another thing that's not really a negative, it's more of a, you might feel this way, you might not. This isn't a very family-friendly film, or the usual jokey Marvel formula that really like eases or breaks the tension. This does not let off. This does not let off the gas. It keeps going in that direction further and further. I personally enjoyed that, but a lot of people won't. But for the actual bad stuff, there's like a musical fight scene. Yes, there's a musical fight scene, and not like people singing or what. But it's just a really goofy, unappealing thing. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about if you do see the movie. And the first half of this film feels very different from the second half. Like, it takes a really odd, sharp, twisted, dark shift from cliche MCU into damn near full-blown horror. You'll know the Sam Raimi directed scenes when you see them, but you'll also scratch your head in confusion at whether or not some of these things are done by him, because there's just some tension between the darker stuff. It's very disjointed. It just feels very disjointed at a certain point. And there's some pretty weak CGI. There's some weak CGI in here, definitely. American Chavez, despite being pivotal to the plot, she's the weakest character in the film in terms of depth. There really should have been more there to her. Like I said, the film could have had another 20 more minutes, and maybe you could have devoted that 20 minutes to making her more of a fleshed out character that doesn't seem so one-dimensional. It's kind of ironic that a character with her skill set would come off one-dimensional. There's also a couple pivotal character and story moments where you'll be like, are you kidding me? That's all you had to say? Or, are you kidding me? You're just gonna stand there while this person gets turned into shredded cheese? Overall, the MCU has been mostly disappointing to me since Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man No Way Home was great, in my opinion. WandaVision, Hawkeye, those shows had some very strong, likable moments, but everything else has been increasingly disappointing to me. However, while this won't be like great for a lot of people, or even remotely good for a lot of people, I actually really enjoyed this dark take, this horrific display of chaos and madness bordering on full-blown horror, pushing the limits and boundaries of what the MCU is known for. It's a solid 7 out of 10 for me. But put me in a fucking straitjacket because I enjoyed it. Might do a spoiler review. Anyways, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on it, spoiler free. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I want to see your comments in the comment section, hear what you thought of it. Check out some other videos up there. Stay awesome. Rock on.